Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video by me, indeed. So, some more Hearthstone, actually. You know, after last week's video, I was actually, like, really surprised, like, pleasantly surprised, with how well the video went down with you guys. I mean, it's not Age of Empires 3, and, you know, Age of Empires 3 is the main feature of this channel, and it always will be, and, you know, because of that, I just didn't expect it to get any views, but... you know, so that's good. It did, and I was happy about that. But yeah, I recorded all of the other games in the arena, and I thought, all right, you know, let's do another Hearthstone video. I've got the recordings. Why not? So this is the same deck as last time. It's the same arena as last time, obviously. And if you know, so if you haven't seen the previous video, you know, a couple of weeks ago, or 1 week ago actually, then I would recommend watching that, especially if you are new to this game, because I do go over the basics. But yeah, let's get into this. Enjoy the video.
I'm gonna keep... do I keep swipe? Like, normally no. Well, normally yes, because it's so good. But there are so many in my deck, I'm bound to draw it, so actually maybe not. Acolyte of Pain is reasonable. I can play it on turn 3. It's got a, you know, less, not so much, it's not very expensive. But this card is it's rather underwhelming in the stats. Like, the text is what you're interested in. Whenever this minion takes damage, draw a card. But I'd rather be drawing cards late game. I want power, like cards with a lot of strength in the early game, so... I probably will keep the swipe. There are so many, I can afford to just swipe stuff that I normally wouldn't swipe. I normally want to save my swipe for... like in Construct, you only get 2, so you want to make sure your swipes count, whereas here they can just be on anything, really, and that'll be really good. Okay, so turn 1, I've got 1 mana, nothing costs 1. I have to end the turn and waste that mana. I'll never get that back, because on turn 2 it refills up. And on turn 2 I'll have 2 mana. So this is his turn 2, he uses Hero Power, he's got nothing in his hand. This is good for me. He's on one, like, because Hero Power is good, because you can use it every turn. But overall, it's, you know, in the early game you want to be playing threats. If you can use the Hero Power every game, then you'll be doing stuff efficiently, but if you are using the Hero Power every game, you're probably not going to be playing any cards, and you'll probably get knocked over. So here, I'm going to use this. Since I'm going second, I get this, the coin. Gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. So I'll go up to 4 mana, and then that will give me a, you know, I can actually play something now. I'm going to play this Yeti. My next choice is, do I want to kill his 2/3, or do I attack his face? Normally in Constructed, I kill a Murloc, because Murlocs, as it says, this card says Battlecry, give all other Murlocs 2 health. He doesn't have any Murlocs on the board, so nothing happened. But in Constructed, obviously, if you've got a Murloc deck, you want to kill the Murlocs, because they, like, if he then plays a card that buffs it, then that'd be really good for him. But this is, I highly doubt he'll have another Murloc. This is the arena. And as you can see, my card is better than his, I think. Plus, this can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. So, he has to use his minion to kill it. He can't use his spell. So he wants to get rid of it whilst it's not so bad for him. Now, I could send my Yeti into that, and then hero power and kill it. That would be good. But then I'd have only, like, this uses 2 mana, my hero power, and then I'd have 2 mana left, which I can't spend. Nothing in my hand costs 2, so I'd rather use my mana up efficiently and play this. I don't want to attack into it, because I'll take 3 damage on my Yeti. And then he can just attack it back and kill it. Whereas if I don't attack at all, they're both alive. And, you know, now I've got 8 mana's worth of stuff on the board. So, that's good for me. My Yeti absorbed this, the Wolf Rider, which is a 3-cost minion with 3 attack and 1 health, which is bad, but it has charge, meaning it can attack the turn it's played. So I absorbed that. I also absorbed Wrath, which is a 2-mana spell that Druids get specifically. No other class can have it. And it does 3 damage, or 1 damage, and you can draw a card, but he chose to do 3 damage. So I actually used two of his cards up just on 1 of my cards, so that's really efficient. Here, normally I'd want to play, like, use all my mana, and I'd, you know, use Nourish, but here that doesn't actually, how do you say? It doesn't put anything on the board, and that's what I'm concerned about. I am, however, like, I could draw 3 cards with it, which is good. I'm tempted right now to gain 2 mana crystals. That'll use all my mana, but I'll also have 2 crystals left over, because it says gain 2 mana crystals. And on my next turn, those 2 mana crystals will still be there. Like, every turn from henceforth now, I'll have 2 extra mana. meaning I can play loads of stuff. I'm just a bit concerned that I won't need all of that mana, because I won't be able to play it all, but judging by my hand, I should be able to do. I still don't think it's the right decision. I think a better play is this. Leaves that on 1 health, hero power it down, and drop this 3 cost minion. So I use all of my mana efficiently, and I'm happy with that fight there. 2 health is enough to avoid hero power, which is what he's got, same as me. It's also enough to avoid the 1 damage that Swipe can do, deal 4 damage to an enemy minion, which is a specific card he could have. It's not enough to avoid that, though. That's good for him. This card's rather weak, being 4 mana with 2 attack and 4 health. But it says, choose 1, deal 2 damage or silence a minion. He chose to deal 2 damage. So that's good for him. Unfortunately, though, for him, I can do this. And that leaves me with 1 health, which is normally not very good. I don't like that. Because it's now vulnerable to his hero power. And because of that, this guy, return a friendly minion from the battlefield to your hand. He's got good stats. He costs only 2. So we're going to bring that back. He's now going to go into my hand. And I will drop something that costs 4. I could just play this again, but that only uses 3 mana. So I'm going to drop this. Uses 4. This card has got rather weak attack. But look at the health stat. That's really big. I mean, it's not as good as Yeti. I'd rather have slightly more attack and slightly less health. This is a Yeti.
What does the
but this has sufficient stats to be good. This is a good time for Swipe, in my opinion. I'm just gonna play quickly now, right? Like that. I've got 1 damage there, and this does 2, and I can do 3 space. Yes, you can. There you are. Really efficiently clear his board. This is why Swipe is so good. It brought that down, brought 4 health off the Yeti, so I could deal 1 more damage and kill it with my hero power, and it brought the other creature down to 2 health, which was in range of my Oasis Snapjaw. And of course, that other creature would have killed my youthful Brewmaster if it was left alive, because it had enough damage to do that. So actually, that was really nice. That's a good card. Okay, so this is a 5 cost creature, 3 attack, 5 health. It has taunt, so I have to kill it. I can't avoid that. And it's got death rattle. When it dies, it summons a creature with 1 attack and 2 health, and that creature also has taunt. So once this dies, another taunt comes back to life, which is kind of annoying. I could swipe here. I've got so many swipes, but then that only leaves me with 4 mana, and that's I'd have to like play the other swipe then, which is not very good. I don't have to. I could play a 3 cost minion and waste 1 mana. But actually, I think the correct thing to do here is kill it. Unfortunately, I do lose my minion. I can't kill that, but that's not very threatening. And then I'll use all 8 of my mana to play this giant friggin' thing. Like, look at that. And then the next turn, he could just do 1 damage to my Ironbark Protector and that would die. But, you know, what's 1 damage on this guy? Nothing. It's a scratch. Whereas 2 damage with the turtle is enough to kill. Oh, dear. Oh, sorry about that, bro. Okay, Mad Bomber is a 3-2, which is good. It's got 2 mana, cost 3 attack, 2 health. Battle Cry, deal 3 damage, randomly split between all minions, all other characters. And unfortunately, that does hit your own stuff. This is actually quite good, though, because if you don't have anything on the board, and you play this, and you need to do 1 damage to something, you can deal 1 damage with the bomber. So actually, this is not a bad card. He's just really unlucky. That was a really unlikely outcome that he'd kill his own thing.
What?
So there's that. I think, though, what I'm going to do is swipe. This is another great turn for swipe. 4 damage to that. Brings it in range of my turtle. My turtle's killed, like, 3 things now. And then 1 damage from the swipe brings the Mad Bomber into hero power range. So I can kill that for free. I know I'm taking a lot of damage doing all this, but it's dying for free every time. And we'll drop this. I do think maybe Acolyte came with it. No, actually, I like Injured Blade Master here. It's got more attack. It says 4-7, which would be insane, but I think, you know, deal Battle Cry, deal 4 damage to himself. That might seem a bit weird. Why not just make it a 4-3 without the Battle Cry? Well, this is good because since it's damaged, cards that heal can actually heal back up, and so can the Priest. That was really good. Argent Commander is a 6 cost minion, has 4 attack and 2 health. It has charge, meaning it can attack the turn it's played, And it has Divine Shield, meaning it will take no damage the first time it takes damage. So you play it, it charges, charge into something, don't take any damage. Sick card. And he also gave it Mark of Nature, this card here, which choose one, either get 4 attack or 4 health. He chose to give 4 attack, and that's still alive, so that's really good for him. Right, so now I need to kill that. It's got a lot of... I could just swipe it. There are so many swipes in this deck, it probably would just be fine. And I'm tempted to do that. I could swipe his face for 4 and hero power it down, but that's probably... Like, I could... Like, that's fine. Like, taking 8 damage would be fine. It sounds strange, but I don't need to, because I'm so far ahead in terms of cards that that's probably not a good idea. I think what I will do is... I will swipe it. I've got so many swipes, and I'll just play these 2 3-cost units. Now, obviously this guy, if your opponent has 4 or more minions, take control of one of them at random. Yeah, that's really good, but most of the time you'll never be able to do that. So it's not worth hanging on to the card. I mean, 3 mana, he costs 3, and, you know, he's 3/3. That's still fine to play as a card. And that's what I need. I need cards right now. Oh, he's not out yet. This is interesting. So this guy freezes. He's a 6-cost 5/5, which isn't actually that good, and he freezes a minion. He chose to freeze this one, so now I can't attack with this. I'm actually, like, in a danger zone here because I can't kill that and make myself safe. I can, however, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. I will swipe it. And I will actually hero power it, which looks really, really dangerous, but it's fine. Because this leaves all my threats alive, all of my minions on the border alive, and he's now very low on health. And I know for a fact druids don't have very much burst damage. Unless they're me, in which case they have 6 swipes in their deck and just swipe you to death on turn 8. But I find it unlikely he could deal 12 damage with nothing on the board from his 2 cards in his hand. That card only affects minions, and that card gives everything 2 extra attack. And this is partly why I kill everything on the board, because that would have given all of his stuff on the board 2 extra attack. But it only gives him 2 extra attack, so here that's, you know... He's not out yet, definitely not. So I'll play... I'm going to use this, I'm going to draw 3 cards, see what we get. Some more nice stuff. Then I'm going to play this, just want to use all of my mana every turn. And you can see at this point how good my deck is. I've not been using swipe. Well, swipes have been I've actually been quite efficient this game, but he's only got 1 card against my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. We're not going to count this 2. And the game is all about gaining card advantage. This is why I attack stuff with my hero power all the time and lose lots of health. Like, I'm very far ahead at this point, and I'm quite low health, but that's because I'm trading my health for cards, basically. I'm trying to kill his stuff where I can efficiently without using my cards.
Malfurion versus Valera.
Watch your back.
I must protect the wild.
So, let's get rid of this 6-cost card, just costs too much. And then, you know, probably gonna keep the Croc. Yeah, I'm gonna like, it's not a very good card. I'd rather have 3 attack and 2 health, such as this Youthful Brewmaster, which also comes with this Battle Cry. Return a friendly minion from your Battle Cry to your hand, which so far has been really good for me. Though that can sometimes be bad, because you don't want to return a minion. Because if you do, you have to pay for it again when you play it. Oh, okay. Alright. I have a choice. Normally you could hero power here, deal 1 damage to the 2/1, and that would kill it. The Death Rattlers deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. So this is why this 1 health guy isn't very good against druids, or classes generally that can deal 1 damage very easily with a hero power. So that's definitely an option, but I think the Crocolisk is better, because it's got enough health to survive. It would definitely be like better in terms of value, card efficiency, to use my hero power to kill it. But I think I respect the fact that he has Leponome in his deck. Like, you would very, very rarely draft it. Like, Leponome is so bad. Yeah, he's got Backstab in his opening hand. I think he's playing an aggressive deck. He's managed to draft himself some sort of aggressive deck in the arena. So I want to put down card, like that's absorbing his backstab, and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to respect. I really want a hero power here. Could play this, but it will only have 3 health once it's done 4 damage to himself, and the gnome and the knife can kill it. I think I'm going to play it, though. I did say I'm going to respect the fact that he could have a very aggressive deck. And I need to keep the threats coming. I can't just play, like, my hero power, because then I take damage from the leper gnome, and I wouldn't be playing any threats, and then he'd play something else, and I just wouldn't be able to keep up.
So many options.
The other train of thinking is to think that maybe that was just one bad pick that he got, and the rest of his deck is like a normal arena, which isn't very aggressive, and is just like sort of mid-rangey, where most arenas sort of end up, and this is just one card that he terrible card that he got, and he played it on turn 1, which is actually the best place for it, and since I didn't hero power, I'm giving him a lot of value. I actually think that is probably what I've done. I think I played that poorly by not hero powering it. But then again, if you consider how strong my deck is, I think this is maybe still correct. Because this deck is so good in the late game, and sort of the mid-range sort of game, making sure I get there safely, which I have now done, like we're on turn 4, and we've got all these big cards coming up, then, yeah, I think, you know, either decision is probably fine. I've got enough swipes to carry me through. Swipe one card. So I've got nothing that costs 5 in my hand, which is how much mana I'll have. I'm hoping to draw something. Nope, we get another swipe. I actually think that's the best play here. Normally, swipe just again... No, actually, no, that's not a good idea. So, do I want to swipe the Yeti? No, because it'll be left on 1 health. And then, what's he going to do? Am I going to deal 4 damage to a 1 health minion to kill it? That doesn't seem very good. However, the other player's Youthful Brewmaster, which will return a minion to my hand, so I could attack him. That would leave it on 1 health, and then return it to my hand. But then that only leaves a 3/2 on the board, which is very vulnerable to... Well, it would definitely kill that, so that's a play. But if I leave this up... I think that's correct, even though... Like, normally it would never be correct. That's a terrible waste of swipe. But in this particular circumstance, I got the most out of swipe by dealing 4 damage to him. It did the 1 damage I needed to the Yeti, so that my Yeti could kill it. Unfortunately, though, 1 damage from his dagger will kill my Yeti, but there's nothing I can do. I think, out of the available plays I had, that was the best one. That's interesting. I don't agree with that. Blade Flurry. Destroy your weapon and deal 2 damage to all enemies. So basically he had a 1 damage dagger, which is normally fine if you want to destroy it. No, he had a 1 damage dagger. That was perfect. That's all he needed, 1 damage on my Yeti. So I don't understand why he did that. I mean, you can buff the attack of your dagger up to like 8 or something if you've got some crazy cards that do that. But he didn't. And then if you Blade Flurry, it does like 8 damage to everything. And they've got a full board of minions, then that's sick. But here, I don't actually like his decision to do that. So he plays an ogre. We've both got good turn 6 there. 6 attack, 7 health guy. Nice. I'm also, now, this thing buffs my stuff by 1 attack and 1 health, which will actually buff it into the enough attack to kill his ogre. And it leaves my ogre with 2 health, which is outside of his 1 damage dagger range. So he can't easily kill this with his dagger. He has to do something with his cards. So this is where my plays earlier against that leper gnome seem more justified, because I'm now in this late game sort of stage with lots of big threats coming out. And I'm looking pretty good. But I still think I could have gotten here without wasting my like early cards against the silly leper gnome. I could have just hero powered that. But that's long ago now and doesn't really mean much. Ooh. That's pretty good. I like this play. It clears my entire board. And then that'll deal 1 damage, and then he'll use his dagger to finish the 6-1. If he's clever. Let's see if he's clever. Basically, what happened? Okay, Betrayal. Force an enemy minion to deal its damage to the minions next to it. He told my ogre to deal 7 damage. 7 damage killed the thing standing next to him. I don't agree with that play at all. That was weird. I liked Betrayal. Okay, and this guy, since the Wild Pyromancer, it says, after you cast a spell, deal 1 damage to all minions, including your own. But since the ogre had 2 health, it took 1 damage from the Pyromancer because of the spell, and then he could have used his dagger to finish it off. Yes, he would have taken damage, but that would have been an efficient way to deal with the ogre. Instead, he then chose to play another spell, Conceal, give your minions stealth until your next turn. Which, since it was a spell, and Pyromancer does another 1 damage, Pyromancer killed itself. It also killed the ogre, but he used his card up. And, I guess the only benefit there is that he saved some health. I'm going to play this, because this returns a minion to my hand. There's nothing on the board, so it can't do that. And then I'm going to play these. Now I get to choose with this card. Do I want a 3-2? Yes. Or do I want to give all of my minions plus 1-1? I could do if I had more minions, but I think a 3-2 on its own is better. So here I'm just repopulating the board. That Betrayal, though, that was really good. Betrayal's such a cheap card. Oh, I can't see it anymore. It's gone too far down the list. I think it's 3 cost.
Truth is my shield.
Now you can see I'm running out of cards. At this point in the game, I'm thinking, I should have just hero powered the leopard gnome. Never mind. Okay, so here, I'm definitely going to be using Swipe this turn. It's not great because there's only 1 minion on the board. So, how do I want to do this? Right, I'm going to be playing this thing. That's going to happen. Now, I've got to get rid of the Divine Shield, so I could hero power it off. Or I could deal 4 damage to his face, and then the 1 damage would knock it off. As it turns out, I'm going to have to... So, yeah, I think, you know, I'm going to have to... Yeah, so let's do that. Alright. And then... do that. And then do that. Now, no matter what I did there, I had to use my hero power to deal 1 damage to the big taunt thing. It had taunt, so I had to kill it. He has 4 cards in hand, and I have 3 in total. 2 on the board, 1 in my hand. Both of the ones on the board are very low cost, so they're not actually that good. I'm not in such a good spot here. That Betrayal play really slowed me down. Betrayal's cool. Usually it's not very good, because most of the time making a minion deal its damage next to the other minions isn't actually that good. Most of the time players will, you know, have that card in mind against a rogue, and they'll place their minions so that all the weak ones, all the strong ones are on the side, and you've got all the weak ones in the middle, so that if you force a minion to do damage, it'll only do, yeah. Alright, so, do I have lethal? I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've only got 12 damage. This is because 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. I could use my hero power, but I don't have the mana for it. I don't want to use my swipe on his face. That's a waste. I'd rather deal it on his minions. I have to... My swipe has to trade for one of his cards, otherwise I'll just get further and further behind. I could Starfire his face, because it says deal 5 damage, draw a card. But I still want the 5 damage to eliminate one of his cards, and I think it can. And then it will draw me another card, so actually I'll gain a card advantage on him. This game is not over just because he has low health. See, I might have to actually... Might still have to fight for board position here, but actually as it stands, I am on a reasonable... Yeah, so what have we got here? I can now kill him. Normally druids can't do that. They cannot burst you down because they just don't have the damage. They have to rely on their big creatures. I have a lot of swipes. Holy shit, that is a lot of swipes.